Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Kelly. Good morning, Mary. I am Sarah Simon. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you from Appleton, Wisconsin. And I hope that I figured out my video problem. Last week I was talking about how, oh, I'm sorry if my lips aren't on, but it seemed to be working last week. So we'll hopefully cross our fingers that everything is working today. Good morning, Mary Van Domlin and Linda on YouTube, and we've got some of our friends on Facebook. I am excited to be with you this morning. I have three cards for you this morning, a couple of fun folds, a sneak peek at some product that is coming out in March, and a little celebration item that I haven't used yet. Good morning, Becky Christensen. Long time no talk to you. Good morning, Anna. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to go ahead and start with some prizes so that we can get to stamping right away. So for commenting last week and receiving the cards we made, so we made this cute little easel card with the cat. And I did find online a little thing where you could print a little sticker. Good morning, Barbara. A little sticker that you could put on a card, and it shows it how to stand it up. However, I couldn't download it, so I'm going to keep working on that. I found it yesterday and I just didn't have the time to keep playing with it. Um, but I will, as soon as I can figure it out, or I can make one of my own, I will post that for you. Then we also made this fun fold, which opens up on the side, and then this opens up. I did send mine out in the mail to the person that I said that I was making that one for. And then we had our fun little St. Patrick's Day gnome. Isn't he fun? I just loved him. So receiving these for making a comment. So anytime you comment, your name gets put into a drawing, and I just do a random pick of a name. And receiving these this week is Karen Karst. So Karen, I see that you are on here. You just said good morning, and congratulations. You are going to be getting these in the mail. And then if you share, so if you hit that share button and you share either to your Facebook page, to a Facebook page that you business page, or to a message to somebody, you get put into a drawing as well to win fun prizes and receiving a brand new Wink of Stella. Oh, these are so coveted. I love them when they're new. Is Margaret Duncan from North Carolina. And Margaret, I don't have your address. So thank you so much for sharing my page. And I would love to get this in the mail to you. So if you could private message me your address, I will get that off into the mail. And then for placing an order this past week, so we had several people place an order, and receiving the adorable owls is Lynn Evans. So Lynn, thank you for your order. Thank all of you who placed orders, and I will get this off in the mail to you, or I'll probably just send it with my mom when she sees you next. So thank you all so much for your support of my business. I really, really appreciate it. Good morning. I'm going to say good morning to some of the people who hopped on here. So Shanna, good morning. And Sandy Calloway, good morning. And Marcia, I think I said hello, but if I didn't, I wanted Kate, good morning. So thank you so much for joining me. Today, we are going to play with the celebration item, like I said, that I haven't played with yet. Sadly, that dainty design that those dainty flowers that everybody liked as a celebration item, it is gone. I know I went to go order it for a customer who sent me something, and I'm like, I happen to have an extra pack of it, so you're in luck, but it is gone. So it's getting close to the end, and that's like, it's there until it's gone and they don't make any more. So, but today I'm going to be sharing with you something that's going to be available to you come March. So when celebration is over, they were going to be bringing in some new stuff for you to take a look at. And so we're going to take a look at it today. If you sign up to be a demonstrator, remember that deal is only good for a couple of weeks. It's good till the end of the week, $99, and you get $175 worth of product. That is amazing. And if you choose to add the extra $30, you can get that little fun boho blue Stampin' Cut and Boss machine, the little mini one. So that is a great deal. If you are interested and you have questions, feel free to reach out to me and I'd be happy to let you know all about that. I've really added to my team during this celebration. I'm so excited to have some new people join the team and get that discount. And you can purchase that preview item with your $175 order. So that's kind of cool too. So I'm going to go ahead and flip my camera to my phone. Let's see, and we are going to go ahead and get stamping. So for these cards, I completely do not have the little post-it notes because I actually have everything typed up and I'm going to post it afterwards so that you can have all of the dimensions and it'll have a picture. I took pictures of the items already. I'm ahead of the ball game. I also have last week's that I'll be posting because I got both of those done last night. So I'm a little bit ahead of the game today and I don't have to worry about doing that after I'm done today. So we are going to be using the Thanks a Bunch. I'm not going to lie to you, when this came out, I was like, don't need to have that one. Kind of like that really, really busy paper with the floral images. Can't think of what it's called right off the top of my head, but I didn't feel like I needed that either. I thought it was too busy. But now that I have it, I love the cards that I've made with it. And there are so many cool things that you can do. You can take these carrots and you can flip them around and you can make them as little trees. You can also put these carrots together and make like a heart. I've seen that done. We're just going to use them as carrots today on my card that I'm doing. And this is going to be my SIP card. SIP standing for stamps, ink, and paper. So you don't need any sort of an embossing machine, cutting machine. You don't need any punches. You just need to have the stamps, the ink, and the paper. So what I have here is Pale Papaya, and this measures 11 by 4 1/4, and I scored it at 5 1/2. This is going to be that, we can always call this like the hot dog fold, I guess you would say. I have 2 pieces of basic white that measure 4 by 5 1/4. One is for the inside and one is for the outside. Oh, this is still available. So with a $100 purchase, you can receive 48 sheets of fun designer paper, 12 designs, 4 sheets of each one, and this is one of them. So this measures, and we used this one. No, we did not use this one last week, did we? I'm trying to remember. I'm going to turn one of these lights off, ladies, because it's kind of flickering. I have to figure out why that one is doing that. This measure, yeah, we did use this on the inside of that easel card. So this measures 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. I have a strip, and I believe this is 1 1/4 or 1 1/2 by 3 7/8. Sorry, 3 7/8 by 1 1/4, I believe it is. This is what we're going to be stamping on, and I don't remember the dimensions right off the top of my head. I do think I have a ruler here and I can do this. I'm sorry I didn't put my stickers on. I took them off to do my directions. 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. I have a piece for my envelope, and I have a 1/2 inch strip of this designer paper, and I have a 1/2 inch strip for our direction, or for our greeting as well. Goodness gracious, I can't talk this morning. Yes, Aunt Mary, the sun is shining and I'm glad your coffee is hot. I hope that I can inspire you. Good morning, Kathy Jean from Alberta, Canada. Good morning, Sarah. I'm just going to give this a little bit of a burnish. I'm going to start by doing my stamping and then we'll put the card together. So I have a couple of colors here. We've got some Granny Apple Green. I have some Pale Papaya. And I also have some Pumpkin Pie. So these carrots are the 2-step. So I have a solid image, which I usually end up doing this with my lighter color. And then I have a more detailed image, and I do that with my darker color. Looks like I did not clean these after I finished yesterday. Shame on me for not cleaning them. I'm going to go ahead and bring this in. I like to start with the darker color because I can see it a little better for lining up. Some people like to start with the lighter color. It's entirely up to you. And some stamp sets are different. Some of them I'm like, I like the background one first, and some of them I like the detail first. So I'm just going to stamp 3 carats here. So again, these are the detailed ones. So that's the detail. So it doesn't look much like a carrot yet. I'm going to close up my pumpkin pie because otherwise I might be tempted to put my stamp in there. Oh, got disconnected. Sorry, ladies. This happened before I started. So let me see if I can get connected again. It was so good last week. There we go. I think I'm connecting. There we go. I think I'm back on. Sorry about that. It said it was a network error, so I don't know if that means that my Wi-Fi can't keep up or what is happening. I am on Do Not Disturb because somebody said to me, I think you have to be on Do Not Disturb for your phone. And so if somebody sends you a text or a message or something, that's what's disconnecting it. But I am on Do Not Disturb, so that shouldn't be doing it. So I have to line this up. So I just bumped the camera. Sorry, that was my head trying to look where I'm going to stamp this. So I've got 1 carat. And we've got 2 carats. Doesn't that look cool with 2 different stamps there? And I have 3 carats. All right, looks a lot different once you put that solid one in. It's just, for me, it's easier to line that up. Now, you could have stamped off once too. I had looked at that. I kind of liked how dark it was on the side, so I kept it the way, kept it solid, but you could stamp off as well. Then I'm going to bring in the little leaf for the top. Now, this you could use for fall leaves. I think you don't have to use it for a carrot. So if you've got this stamp set, this would be great to use in fall with a bunch of fall different colors. I am going to stamp this a couple of times, and sometimes I'm going to stamp it full strength, and sometimes I'm going to stamp it once it's been stamped off. So I'm going to start with, and again, I'm going to stand up so I can see over the top of this. There's 1. And then I'm going to stamp it off. And then I'm going to go solid again and stamp it off. And I think I'm going to just do 1 coming out of here. So it looks kind of crazy with all of those greens, but with them all being different colors and a little bit different directions, this one should have been down a little bit because it's not connected to my carrot, but it will do. All right, then, whoops, let me keep this out. And let me bring my pumpkin pie back in because I have to do my greeting yet. I am going to take this strip and I'm going to stamp the thanks. This has like thanks, love you, and then it has the word a bunch so that you can add it to any of the greetings. So I am going to stamp thanks. That looks pretty good. And I'm going to do a bunch. I gotta get the right one. I've got a couple of stamps in here yet. And I'm gonna do that in my pumpkin pie. So thanks a bunch. And then I'm gonna take one of these white, bigger white layers. This is going to be my inside. And there's no one quite like you. Now, I have seen some really, really cool cards that have like all orange carrots, and then they have one that's like almost like a rich raspberry carrot, and then they use this there's no one quite like you, which is really a clever idea for using that. There's no one quite like you. And I do have to bring my pale papaya back in here because I'm going to use the little carrots. because I want this to be a little bit softer. And I'm going to bring that like right off to the side here. And then we've got our really little greens that are going to go right on top of that. And I actually might do, there we go. And I might do a third strength. There we go. That looks really, really cute. So there's no one quite like you. All right, I am done with all of the stamping that I have to do. So I'm going to go ahead and close up my ink pads before I drop something in one of them, because I've been known to do that a time or two, especially when I've got so much stuff on my desk. I'm going to put my stamps away. I am going to bring in my Granny Apple Green Stamp and Blend marker. I'm going to bring in my, well, I actually have a bone folder out here already. I'm going to open up the brush tip, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some speckles, because I just felt it was a little bit too stark white. So I felt it just needed. Now there is a stamp that has some speckles. I thought those were a little bit much. I just wanted some little things here and there just to make my paper not quite as white. Okay, so I'm going to put that away. And we're going to put our card together. I can sit down. All right. I'm like, can I sit down or do I have to stay standing? All right, let's start with, make sure I don't have any comments. Hello, Kathy. Hi, Aunt Dorothy. Good morning, Diane and Kathy. Good morning, Becky and Denise. Denise and Kathy, are you guys still together, stamping your little hearts out this weekend? I think Kathy said that you guys had a little stamping retreat type weekend this weekend. So, oh, I love those opportunities to get together with people who love doing the same hobby that you have and just kind of spending a weekend having fun. So I'm going to take this DSP that is just going to be my little accent color, and I decided I wanted to use that on the outside for my envelope. So I'm doing my envelope first here so that I don't forget to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and trim around here, and then I will have that done. Now, my inspiration for this card kind of came from something that I saw in the Celebration catalog with this stamp set, with having just this image like this and then the greeting over the top of it. I kind of altered it to add a couple more layers because I am the layer queen. So I'm going to go ahead. Everyone always says, you have so many layers on your cards, because I love having a lot of different layers. All right, so I'm going to put this on the inside of my card. Get that lined up so it's even all the way around and give it a good press. Okay, so this is why I do layers. So that looks okay, right? But look at this. When you put this, just a little bit of white behind it, look at how that looks. It just kind of like sets that paper out. So that's why I do all of the extra layers. I feel like by putting that extra layer of white, it just makes that green stand out that much more on this paper. And so that is why I do those extra little, it's really just like a 1/16 of an inch because the paper is only an 1/8 of an inch bigger. All right, this is going to just go across the center here just to add a little bit of that color that we're looking for. Now this is Mango Melody and I did Pale Papaya, but because there were softer shades of the Mango Melody in there, I felt that the Pale Papaya looked good with that. Maybe you would disagree, but I thought it looked pretty good together. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this. Now, the card that I looked at online did not have a layer on with this one, and it was kind of up a little bit and left a little bit more down here. And that's kind of how I'm going to make this card, because I am kind of copying that. What I'm going to do with this greeting is I'm going to just kind of cut it at an angle like that. And then what they did in the catalog is they just attached a little bit of DSP underneath and then trimmed that off. So that's where I got that idea, is from the catalog. Now my card, if you looked in the catalog, you'd probably be like, I have no idea what card she's trying to, copy, because it doesn't look anything like it. It's different paper. They had 4 carats, and I decided I just wanted to do 3, but I just got different elements from looking at the cards they had. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this as well on an angle, and that's just going to go right there. But we're not going to put it down just like that. I felt like it needed to have, I'm going to go ahead and put this on. Yeah, I did put that on dimensionals. I'm going to put this on some dimensionals, and then we will attach our greeting. And what I did when I attached my greeting is I put a little bit of twine behind it just to add a little something to the card as well. So I'm going to pull all these dimensionals off. And again, I know I see a lot of demonstrators who, thanks Linda, yeah, layers do make the card. A lot of demonstrators who can use their take their pick tool and pull all these things off. I find it easier to use my nails because I don't have fancy nails. I've just never been a person that needed to have, I shouldn't say I've never been. There was a while where I kept up having fancy nails and it was just too much maintenance for me. I'm a kind of low maintenance kind of person. Maybe other people would disagree with that, but I feel I'm a pretty low maintenance person. All right. You know what? I had some Happy Mail. I thought I brought it in here. I'm going to have to look to see where I set it because I had it in my hands. One of the things I have to do today is I have to clean my office. I know I've said that a couple of weeks in a row, and I just keep stamping on top of it because I've had a card buffet. This week I have my card club. And so I've had a lot of different things that I've been cutting and planning for. And so that means my room is just kind of a disaster. So today it is getting clean. So all I did was tie a really big bow with this linen thread. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of place it where I like it on either side like this and kind of at an angle. And I'm just going to take some Scotch tape and I'm going to tape down where that big knot is in my bow. And that makes it look like I know how to want to do one of those fancy things with ribbon, but it really is kind of a cheating way to do it. So I really just made a bow because I find it easy to make bows and then just tied that on there and it looks kind of cool that way. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put this on some dimensionals. And it looks like, oh, I have 2 left. Then I'm going to have to start cutting. I love when I get to the end of a dimensionals pack. I use all of these, all of the edges. I really like this thank you card, especially for a guy. I agree with you 100%. The carrots are perfect for a thank you card that you might have to send to, it could be to anyone, but it really looks nice for a guy. So I'm just going to line that up here. So thanks a bunch. There's no one quite like you. All right. It needs a little bit of something on it yet, I thought. So these are our 2021 to 2023 in color opal rounds. Now, if you were giving it to a guy, you might want to use like some brass things here instead of using these little glassy things. I thought that these looked nice because we used pale papaya, and pale papaya is one of the colors in here. Let me grab my take your pick tool for this. I do have to get some putty though. Ooh, I think I need to get a new putty and add it in here. Whoops, I took it off and I flipped it. Let's see if I can put it over here. There we go. And we'll take a little one and put it up there. And we'll put one down over here at the end of our greeting. Okay, so there is our thanks a bunch. Didn't have to use anything special, just use stamp, ink, paper, a little bit of ribbon and some gems. And we've got a really cute card to put off in the mail to someone. Yeah, Barbara, I do. The carrots have really grown on me. And it wasn't something that, it was probably one of the last things that I got for a celebration item. Whoops. Because it just wasn't speaking to me. And then I was seeing all these really, really cute things that people had done with them. And I'm like, it's so fun because we have so many, I have so many flowers. It's nice to do something other than flowers. Don't get me wrong, I love flowers. In fact, I got the most beautiful flowers from my parents for Valentine's Day. And I had them at work all week to enjoy them. And then yesterday, I'm like, I have to take these home. So that is our card number one. I'll bring it back at the end so we can see all of them when we're done. Card number two is also not going to be flowers and is going to be a little bit of a different fold. Okay, so we are going to be using Silly Goose. Is this not the cutest? Look at this little goose, all pampered up with a little frog in a little inner tube in water. There's one with a hat and a balloon. There's one that says thanks, and you could do this, so you could put something else there. We're going to use the little fist bump for a congratulations card. Well, it could be used for a congratulations or good wishes. We're going to use the good wishes on the inside, but we're going to use the goosebumps. Isn't that just adorable? I thought this was really, really cute. This is one of the first stamp sets that I got, only because, like I said, I don't want to get everything with flowers. So I always like to get something a little bit different. So we have Sarah Marquardt. I'm doing this card for you because it's all in blues, different shades of blue. Sarah loves blue. Anytime she does a card buffet, she picks every card that has blue in it. So this is 5.5 by 4.25. And then I have another piece of balmy blue that measures 4.5 by 3.5. And I don't know if you can see this, but I ran this through one of the new embossing folders. That's a new sneak peek. You get 3 embossing folders together for $30. There's a polka dotted one. There's one that kind of looks like a floral image, but it kind of looks like seashells as well. And then there's this one that just has kind of like, it looks kind of scratchy type thing. That's what I ran that through. We have some Night of Navy, and this is our folding piece. So our card is going to be flat, and then we are going to have this folding piece where it opens up on the front of the card rather than having a big opening. Okay, so this measures, let me get my measurements here. This is 4.25 by 6.5, and I scored it at 3.25. Okay, so it's a little folding piece. This is some DSP that's from that Regency floral, like Regency suite. And this measures 4 by 5.25. This is also paper from there, and it looks like it's been run through an embossing folder, but it hasn't. And I could have used that cane weave for this and kind of brought that in, but I thought it was cool to actually bring a different pattern in because I had polka dots, I had this, and now I just brought this scratchy stuff in. This measures 1 inch by 5.25. I have a piece of that for my envelope. And then I cut some of these banners. I have 2 of them just in case I make a mistake, because I usually like to stamp and then cut afterwards. Good morning, Nancy. I like to stamp and then cut, but I also don't want you to have to sit and watch me cut. So I ended up cutting them ahead of time, and now I have to stamp them. Okay, this measures 3 by 4, and I have 2 of them. And then I should have, where is it? I might have to go look for it. I might have to cut another one. I have a little piece that's 3/8 of an inch. Where did that go? 3/8 of an inch by 4 inches just for the inside of my card. And I can find a scrap of that somewhere and I can get that cut so we can add it. Let's do some stamping and do some coloring right away. So I am, like I said, going to use these 2 little geese that are fist bumping. And we're going to do some coloring with some blends on those. But that is going to go a little bit to the left. I'm going to stand up so I can see where I'm stamping. I have to get on top of my camera. Okay, so that's going to go about right there. Woohoo! I felt I needed something up here. So my greeting is going to go here, but I felt I still needed a little bit of something. So I found this in the stamp set that has a bunch of greetings. One looks like it's hexagon shape. One looks like it is rainbows. Can't even think of the name of it. But I just took that sun and I kind of put that up in the corner there. I'm going to be using yellow in their beaks, so that kind of fit in. Ooh, I'm noticing that I got a little bit of the ink. Let me see if I can get that off down here. This is a sand eraser. I just get these on Amazon. I can link them if it's something that you're interested in, but you can like scratch away part of your paper, like sand away part of your paper to get ink on. So that little mark that was down there is now gone. So no more halos. You can usually get those off. All right, let's see here. I'm going to bring in my Night of Navy ink. I don't need this anymore. I've got Night of Navy ink for my inside greeting and my outside greeting. So remember how I said I was going to do sending giggles of good wishes? I think I said that. I thought that was a cute greeting. All right, that's going to be on the inside. And my goosebumps, because they're doing a fist, two geese are doing a fist bump. That is going to go for the outside here. Whoa. All right, I did a pretty good job. Let's go ahead, if I do say so myself, not to brag myself up or anything, but that can sometimes be hard too. And it is a little bit further over to the right. So I might do something a little bit different with my ribbon just because it is a little bit to the right. I have some twine that I was going to be using, baker's twine. And so I will maybe mix that up a little bit. Okay, I have a dark, soft, so saffron, which is the color that I used for that little sun as well. And I am going to color the beaks of my geese. This is not a card that I would send my dad, unless I wanted to do it as something funny. My dad, it gets very, very frustrated with the geese at our cottage. We have something that's called a scarecrow that we turn on. And what it is anytime the geese try to come up onto the grass, this sprinkler goes on. And so then they don't like to come up there. It doesn't work in the rain though, because it's raining anyway. But, and I'm also going to like accent where their fists are meeting. Okay. So my dad gets really, really, really frustrated with our geese. All right. I am going to use, this is a pool party, and I know I was using Balmy Blue, but what I use this for, and I talked about this a little bit last time with my cat, I like to go with something really, really light around the outside of the image because it kind of gives it like a little shadow. It makes the white on the inside stand out a little bit more, and it just kind of offsets that image a little bit. So all I'm doing is I'm tracing along the line of the stamped image and just adding a little bit of, it's kind of like a shadow around the outside, but it really does make the image itself stand out. Now, I thought about using a blend and I thought about blending the back with a blue. You could do that as well. I thought about cutting these images out, fussy cutting them out and raising them up on dimensionals. But this card had quite a few layers already. And so I kind of opted to do this instead, where I trace around it with the blue, with the light pool party, because I felt I didn't need any more layers coming off of it because of how many layers I already had and how thick the card was getting to be. Okay, so I'm just tracing around here. I know it takes a little bit of time, but I'm going to hold it up a little bit closer to the camera so you can kind of see what that looks like. It's very, very faint. You can hardly even see it at all. but it just adds a little bit of something. Whoops, it's really blurry. Um, but it just adds a little bit of something to that image. All right, then I'm going to take some of my Balmy Blue, and what I'm going to do is these geese right now look like they're standing on air. So I'm just going to just color in here a little bit with the Balmy Blue just to make it look like they're, and I think I'm going to use the brush tip. I'm so used to using the bullet tip because I have more control over things, so I use that probably more than anything else. But this is a nice, and this too, you could do this with a blending brush, or you could do it with a water, you put it on watercolor paper if you wanted to, but I just wanted to give it something to be standing on. Okay, so it just looks like they're standing on something rather than standing on air. All right, I think I'm done with that. And I think we're ready to put this together. Again, I'm going to go ahead and start with our envelope. Let me see if I had any comments. Good morning. I said that was the last one, Nancy, and I did say good morning to you already. Thank you to all of you who have written that you shared. If you do share, please do make a comment that says that you shared. Like last time, for this week, it said that it told me that 12 people shared. I had 3 names because it has something to do with how you have your Facebook set up as to whether you want people to be notified if you share. And so I do go through and I look at the comments for those who have written that they've shared. Sometimes I have more people that than the number that Facebook is telling me, but I think sometimes it might have to do with if I don't know if you share it in a message with someone, if it shows up or not. I have no idea. But if you write share, you always can put it into a message or into the drawing. Okay. All right. So there's our envelope. We are going to go ahead and put this together. All right. So this is our card base. And on our card base, we are going to have our DSP, and we are just going to, again, put this across the center, just like we did in that last card. After I did that card, I did this one second, and I'm going to do that same thing just to add a little bit of the Balmy Blue. This has Balmy Blue. The dots that are in this paper are actually Balmy Blue. So that's why I picked the Balmy Blue and the Night of Navy to go together. All right, this is just going to go right on there. Look at how fun that paper is too. I used that for one of my card buffet cards, and it was probably one of the more popular cards. It was a thank you card. And this paper, I can show you as soon as I'm done, is coming from that Regency Park. Is it Regency Park or Park Regency? I can't remember. I think it's Regency. I'm second guessing myself now. I will grab it as soon as I'm done because I have to get a little strip of it for the inside anyway. This is going to go down flat on here and not raised up. Because otherwise we are going to be way too thick. And then we're going to have to pay more to send it through the mail. And you never want to do that. Okay, and then this opening piece is going to go over the top. So this is how our card is going to open. And I'm going to actually give this a little bit of a burnish with my bone folder so that it lays a little bit flatter. So that is going to go there. So because of all of these layers and a top layer being kind of our fold, that's why I felt I didn't want to cut out those geese and then put them also on big dimensionals because I was afraid of how thick the card might get. You do have to keep it, I think it's like 1/4 of an inch thick. It has to fit through that little slot at the post office. Otherwise, they charge you an arm and a leg more. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the top. They are so cute, those little geese. All right, I'm going to go get some of that paper and we're going to cut a little strip because I don't know where my strip went. Let's see, I've got some right here, but I'm going to grab a pack of that so you can see which one I'm talking about. So this is called Regency Park, and it has all these floral images. Okay, so we've got floral, 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 floral. These are all floral, and then when you flip them over, these are the ones that I used. Okay, so I used that one and that one. Now this one looks like that embossing folder that I just used. It kind of has that same look to it. So, all right, so that is the paper. That's where I got this paper from. All right, I need to bring my trimmer in here. I'm going to cut about 3/8 of an inch, which is just shy of a quarter of it, or a half of an inch, I mean. And I found that I like that when I have a smaller, when I have an 8.5 or 4 by 5.25 layer, it's okay to do a ½ inch, but I find that, and this is 4 inches, I find that when I have a really little inside like this, if I use a little bit, it becomes a little bit too much if I end up going more than that. So, all right, put my trimmer here. We need it for the next card. And I'm going to go ahead and just glue this. I think I'm getting, I think I got a new bottle of glue last time, didn't I? I just don't like it to come out real fast, so I'm usually pretty careful with it. Okay. So that is just going to go there, and we are going to glue that to the inside. I don't think I glued this one down. Oh, I did glue it down. Okay. So this is going to open up, and that's going to be on the inside. Sending giggles of good wishes. So cute. Okay, now we have to put our greeting, which is going to go right here. Now that I did put up on some dimensionals. Now when I did the twine, I'm using some of the Starry Sky. This is from a pack of Baker's Twine. I did the exact same thing that I did on the last card, on the carrot card, with putting it behind the label. But because I ended up stamping this a little bit further to the right, I think I might put my bow on the left-hand side to cover up so it looks like I was supposed to do that. See how we cover up our mistakes? I didn't want to have to restamp that because I thought for the most part it was straight. It was just a little bit off to the right. So I think I'm just going to make myself a bow here, and I might make this just a little bit smaller yet. And I might just put that right there. Nope, I don't think so. I think it is going to have to be that big bow and behind, and I'll just make the little loops come over that way, maybe a little bit more. I feel like I'm mumbling. Sorry about that. I should be talking louder. Talking to myself, kind of, what I want to do. Okay, so should we go like this? Put that way. I think that's what I want to do. I just have to make this a little smaller. There we go. And then we'll cut these off. We're going to do the exact same thing that we did on that last card. So I'm going to, I may have to trim these a little bit more yet. I like to trim them, and then if I need to keep them maybe a little bit longer, and then I can always trim afterwards. If I trim them too short, then I'm stuck and I can't add more. So then I'd have to use more twine and I have to start over. So I'm trying to untwist this. When I untwist it, then I'm going to put some tape on the back. It looks like I have to cut this a little smaller. There we go. Don't want to see the tape from the front. That would be tacky. Okay, it looks like I have to trim it a little bit. This is really tiny. My little fat fingers are not working real well here. Got kind of a mess. There, that's going to go that way. That's going to go that way, all for this little thing. You know what? Let's put this bow back on here and see what it looks like. Maybe I do like the bow. And maybe, you know what? I don't like either. Let's do something different. I just thought of something that I can do. I'm going to get some mini dimensionals. Got lots of those. Just started a newer pack. I'm stuck. All right, we're going to do this. We're going to put that on there. Goosebumps. Get it straight. Now I have these for on here. And I was going to use these little ones, but I think what I'll do is I'll use a little one right there. Oh, look at that. I filled that in. And then I'll use the bigger ones on either end. That works. Okay, so I don't even need to have that ribbon on there. So I've got my two little geese that are fist bumping, and then my wishes on the inside. So fun. Again, not floral, because I would normally tend to gravitate to the floral. So something a little bit different than a floral and a little bit different type of fold. Okay, so that is card number 2. All right, and I do have one more, and this one is going to be featuring a new product that you'll be able to get in March. Unless you decide to, like I said, join my team and take advantage of that $175 in product for $99. Goodness, I got lots of twine. This is called Irresistible Blooms. Look at these florals, and these greetings are awesome. Then we have dies, and I cut this so you could see what that looks like. Let me put some white paper or other paper behind it so you can actually see what that looks like. Isn't that cool? I didn't cut this one yet, but this kind of does the same thing in a straight line. So it also has paper that goes with it. And that's in my, there we go. I threw it all in here. Okay, so notice I was looking at the back. I ended up reaching out to my upline, Kelly, and said, what in the heck? There's Lost Lagoon and there's Pretty Peacock in here. What the heck am I supposed to do? So this is Pretty Peacock, and this has Lost Lagoon in it. And I'm like, I don't have that color anymore. And I said, I don't know if Stampin' Up's going to be bringing those back in March or if they're going to be bringing them back in our new catalog. I have no idea. But I happened to go downstairs where I have all of my stuff packed away for when I sell my stuff when it's no longer available. And I found about 5 sheets of Pretty Peacock. So I did make one card with the Pretty Peacock. However, I didn't have the Pretty Peacock ink. And so I didn't want to make that card with you today. So I made one that uses this paper. And look at these floral images right here. You can cut out with the dies. I don't know if you can see those floral images, but there's a big flower and there's a little flower, and they work for cutting them out with the dies. You also have some pages here. This has it looks like it's embossed with white, and then how you blend over the top. So that's one side here. Let me go like this. That's the wrong one. That one is the right way. So some of them have white, and then it looks like it's all these different colors blended together. The dies for the leaves cut these out, so you could cut those out as well. Okay, and then we've got that, which we're going to be using. That we're going to use. I'm going to show you a card with that other one. So beautiful, beautiful paper. And then the back side is something that's just a little bit more muted. Okay, so this you can get if you want, if you sign up now. Otherwise, it will be available on March 1st. And I just love this. And it will be, I believe, while supplies last. Because it is just an online. They said it's not going to be in any of the catalogs. And so that usually means while supplies last. All right, so in my card buffet, one of the cards that the ladies had to choose from last week was this one from the Rain and Shine. And it opens like this. It opens to the side and then it opens up. Okay, and I can't say that I designed this. I don't even know who I got it from online because I go to Pinterest a lot and I copy a lot online. Um, then, so this was the card, and she sent me a message and she said, "Do you have like written instructions for that fold?" And I'm like, no, not really. But why don't I just do a fold like that on Saturday? So that's what I'm doing. Thanks to her, she gave me the suggestion to do this fold. And so I'm going to go ahead and do a card using this paper and using this stamp set for my card. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how I cut the card base. So I cut 2 of them at a time. So I always make 2 of these cards at one time. So today I'm going to be making 4 because I had already cut this, but I wanted to show you how to do it. So you're going to take a full sheet of paper and you're going to score at 4 1/4 on the 8 1/2 inch side. You're going to score at 5 1/2. Slide that in there, 5 1/2 on the 11-inch side. Okay, then I'm going to actually take my scoring tool out of here to give myself a little bit more room. All right, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up in my trimmer from this corner to that corner. So I want the corners to be in this little groove that's in here, in that little channel, that cutting channel. So I'm putting that tip I can see is in there. And then I'm going to line it up that my tip on the bottom, which I can't have my whole thing in, so you can't see it, but they're both in the channel of the cutting. And I'm going to cut this. Now, you have to take the scoring tool blade out in order to have it long enough to cut the whole thing. If you leave this in, you have to come back with your scissors and you have to do a little cut. So now I have 2 card bases. So this one is going to fold down and it's going to fold in, and this one is going to fold down and it's going to fold in. Okay, now this one is overlapping a little bit, which I don't like. And so what I do is I line up the corner where I need it to be so that this little tip is at the corner. And then I force with my bone folder. Let me get here. I force where I want that fold to be. And then I do the same thing with this one. I bring it over to the corner so that those are lining up. And then I just, with some force, press this down to force it to fold where I want it to fold. Okay, so if it doesn't line up perfect for you after you cut it, now this one lined up better, okay, then you just have to do that with your bone folder. So I have 2 card bases. I'm going to go ahead and burnish these so that it folds, or it sits really nice. Okay, I'm going to put one away. I'm going to leave the other one here. Then what I need to do is I need to take, and I use 2 different patterns. Take the cover off my, I used 2 of the patterns. So I used this one, which is already cut, right? And I'm going to show you how to cut this one. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to bring my trimmer back in here again. And I'm going to cut from corner to corner. So I'm going to put this corner in the channel. And I'm going to put this corner in the channel. And make sure that they're right in the center there. And then I'm going to cut that. Now, because this one is a directional pattern, I really can't use this unless I decide to put this on the top and then put this one on the bottom. This one can go either on the top or the bottom, this one with the lines. This one is directional. Okay, so if I'm going to make my second one, I would put this up on the top so that the leaves are going in the correct direction and it doesn't look like they're upside down. All right, I'm going to use the one that I just cut that's this way for our card today. All right, then I cut this out of our scallop contours, and this is the 3rd largest one, I think it is. And then I used some more of that paper. Look at this. This has just some little leaves in it. Or you could use this side. This is soft seafoam with some little white in it. I used this one. Um, this measures, I think it's 1 7/8 by 3 1/4, and then it'll fit right inside of the stitching on that scalloped rectangle. All right, and then I have a piece for my envelope. I did cut out a couple of the flowers from the paper so that I didn't have to stamp them with white embossing powder and then have to go ahead and blend all of them and then cut them out. So it just saved by being able to cut it out of the paper. I have for the inside, this is 4 by 5 1/4. I have, what is this for? Oh, I have this for stamping my leaves. This is just a scrap. I have, this is about 3/8 of an inch by 4. That's going to go on the inside. And that's it. So we're going to do some stamping. And then after we do our stamping, I'll go ahead and put this card together for you. And then I'll show you one in the Pretty Peacock that I did as well. So you can see I had to use Evening Evergreen ink. Yeah. And it doesn't, I can tell, you maybe can't tell on the camera, but when you look up close, you can tell that it's not the right color. All right, so because this is in the white, looks like it's white embossed, I'm going to go ahead and do that same thing for my greeting. So I am going to take the thank you. I guess I was in the mood for thank you this week. The sample that I made was one that you could use for a birthday, but I thought for this one I would use the thank you so that you could see both. And it just fits across there. And then I'm going to use my white embossing powder. And just put that over the top. And then we would heat set that. Whoops, wrong cover. Trying to put the wrong cover on there. All right. Now, when I heat embossed it, this is what it looks like. You can see the thank you on there. We're going to make that stand out. We're going to do something with it in just a little bit. I'm going to set this one somewhere where it doesn't get the powder knocked off of it so I can heat emboss it and make another card with it. I'm going to take this leaf and, oh my goodness, I thought I had these cut ahead of time through the magic of TV, but I don't. We're going to have to cut them. I guess I didn't do that. Goodness gracious. I know I did it. I don't know where I put them. Story of my life lately. I don't know where I put them, but I know I cut them. But we'll pull out my little mini Stampin' Boss and cut machine, and we'll just going to do 2 of these. And this is soft seafoam, which isn't a color that I use a lot unless there's a paper that has it. So, all right, I did put the die in here. So we'll pull that out. Let me get my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And let me put this out of the way. We'll make some room for it. There we go. So versatile. You can just like pick it up and move it anywhere really easily. Right. Now I do find, and I said this at my stamp club or my card buffet last week when someone was saying they were having a hard time with theirs moving. If you put your plates in where they're all lined up like this, so let me take this off of here. So if you put it in where they're all completely lined up, it's hard to grab. Okay. If you kind of offset it a little bit from the other one so it's not right lined up with it, I'll line this up. It is easier to catch, and it just like cuts right through that. Okay, so there's one leaf, and we'll do one other leaf. Sorry, I'm going to find these after I'm done, but that's okay. I have to make that other card that I cut for, and so I will use those leaves for that card. All right. So we have our 2 leaves. I'm going to get my, try to make that not, there we go. It can be really, really loud when you close it. So I was just trying to be cautious of that. All right, let me put this in here. And let's go ahead and bring out that soft sea foam. And I have one of my blenders. And let me get this white paper out of here because I don't need it. All right, let's use the scrap paper instead. I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to pick up some ink, rub a little bit of it off, and then I'm going to rub over the top of that and see how that thank you just ended up popping. So I'm just basically going to blend this out a little bit so that I'm adding just a little bit of ink to that paper. Right. Then we are ready to put our card together. So again, let's start with our envelope. Oh, you know what? Look what I found, ladies. You just got to go to the bottom of the envelope. There are my leaves. Okay. We're going to go ahead and put some of this fun paper, beautiful paper, on our envelope flap. I think Denise said that she loved Pretty Peacock. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's coming back. Oh, good. You kept them. Good for you. All right. And then trim around here. Yeah, I even looked to see, I have a bunch of Stampin' Spots, but what I did in the last sale that was at my friend Kathy's house, I was like, you know what, I don't need all these Stampin' Spots. Let's just put them in a bag and get rid of them. So I did. And then I was like, oh, I don't have a Pretty Peacock one. I got rid of the stamp pad, and now it's coming back. Oops, I didn't do a very good job here. There we go. All right, so our envelope is done. Get this out of the way. All right, this I'm just going to attach along the bottom. This is just some of that same paper. Now, because this was a thank you, I didn't put anything on the inside because I thought I'll kind of wait and see what I'm thanking them for to decide if I need to add something or if I can write in that area. I am also going to take this little flower and I'm going to put that little flower down there. I don't have to fill up the whole thing with writing. Okay, and that is going to go on the inside. So it isn't really a difficult fold, but if you don't cut it the way that I did with making 2 of them at the beginning, it is hard to cut it on the side and then go back and do your scoring afterwards. It is much easier to cut 2 of them at the same time, or cut for 2 of them at the same time. All right, that is going to go on there. This is Petal Pink paper, by the way. It's kind of, most people say it's not really pink, it's more peach. And it is kind of a little bit on the peachier side. Peachier. Is that a word? Peachier? Yep, you are right, Mary. Mary said she uses a Kleenex to wipe off the ink that's over the top of the greeting afterwards. And I think I actually even put a little piece of the paper towel I used last night. It doesn't look like I did. I'm just going to use my sleeve. So what she's talking about is you can use like Kleenex or paper towel or something, and you can like use it to wipe off, and then it takes any excess ink that's on your greeting, it takes that off. Thank you for sharing that because I do that too. Yeah, the DSP is gorgeous. I don't know who, Linda, I think, said that. Really is pretty. All right, we're going to put this up on top. And this I really like to use the liquid glue for because it does need a little bit of wiggling sometimes. Like making sure that I wiggle it so that it looks like it's even all the way around on those triangles. Okay. Then this is going to go in the center of there, which we kind of did this with our, which one that we did last week? I think we used this. I have the cards here somewhere. I put them for the person that won them. I remember we used this same thing last week. All right, then this is going to go down here, and then I'm going to use a couple of those leaves. Maybe I'll even want 3 of them. I'm going to put one there, put one up there. Maybe it's good that I didn't have that. Maybe I'll put one down here. Okay, so that's how that floral image is going to go. So I'm going to go ahead. Actually, let's go ahead and attach this first. So I'm going to take some, got actually some more of these. Here's what I did with this. Because it's hard because this is on an angle to know where you're supposed to put them, I know for sure I can put a dimensional down in this corner. So that's what I did. I went ahead and put a dimensional down in this corner. And then what I did is I put my dimensionals on my card so that I didn't accidentally put them over too far and then I can't open it. So you have to make sure you're keeping them on that side. All right, that looks like it's about centered and straight. And then if you need to, you can pop another one down here, which I'm going to do just like that. There we go. Okay, so now this opens this way and this opens up on the top. And now we're going to put our flower on. Really an easy card because I didn't have to stamp and blend all of these. It was all done for me by just cutting out the paper. So if you get the dies cut it out perfectly for you. If you decide I'm okay with fussy cutting, you could just fussy cut it as well. You don't have to have the dies. And then this is just going to pop in there. Now the one that I did as my sample, I ended up, I got a little bit too much glue there, but I don't think it'll ooze out. I ended up putting that flower more on an angle because I used a different greeting up on here on the top, and my greeting wasn't quite as big. And so I ended up, let's see, do we want, I think I'm going to do that so that there's 3. Which is going to be different from what I did in the other one that I'm going to show you. Actually, I have 2 more to show you. One with this color pattern and one with the pretty peacock pattern. Okay, so there is our floral image. Now it does need a little bling. And in this suite of products, we have these loose frosted dots. They're called loose. Now, by being loose, that means that they do not have any adhesive on them, because you could use these if you wanted to do like a shaker card. There's the yellows, the pinks, the pretty peacock color, and there's like 3 different sizes. I found the easiest thing to do was to put a dot of glue where I wanted to put it. So I'm going to put 3 of them on there. And then I kind of had to take it in my hand. And then after I took it in my hand, found the one that I wanted, I kind of put it on my take your pick tool on the putty end. And I pressed and I held that there until the glue kind of dries. Look at how shiny those are. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, they're gorgeous. So I kind of, if you can, get it on your take your pick tool, but you might not have it in the right direction. It might be on the flat side. So that's when I had to flip it over in my hand so that it was the correct way. Then pick it up with my putty. Okay, and that one's going to go there. And then there's a smaller one. Got it on my finger, put it on my putty. Whoops. Okay, so there is my thank you card with those beautiful, now this one I might want over a little bit. Right, so this opens this way and then it opens that way. Now I do have an extra leaf here. So if I wanted to, I don't know if I can get this up anymore. Let's put it, see if we can get it up down here. I might cut some of this off and tuck that right under there. I like that on there. Okay, I might cut a little bit more off because it was hanging off just a little bit yet. Who says you can't add something once you've glued it down? You can always try to flip something up there. There we go. That looks good like that. So now I used all 4 of those. All right, so there is that one. I'm going to cover these up before I have them all over my desk. Okay, let me show you the other ones that I did. So this one uses the saying, hooray, it's your day. I put the floral image more in the lower left-hand corner on this one. All right, so there's that one. Then this is the Pretty Peacock one. This one I did with a circle and I did the thank you and I just put some of the leaves on there. But if you look really close at it, this is an Evening Evergreen ink. If it had been in the Pretty Peacock ink, it would look phenomenal. But I'm not real happy with the Evening Evergreen because this is Pretty Peacock. Everything is Pretty Peacock, and then that is not. So that is a quick preview of what is to come. So we've got this fun paper to look forward to once we're sad and celebration is done. So we did this card today. We did our goosebumps. Okay, and we did our thanks a bunch carrot. Okay, so those are our 3 cards. Whoops, let me pull them down here a little bit for today. Kind of fun, a little bit difference in each one of them. A couple fun folds, something floral, and something really easy where you don't need any die cutting at all. It's usually my goal to try to get you a couple of different kinds. All right, let me get back up here. Oh, let's see. Here I am. Here I am. All right. Thank you so much for taking time. It looks like it's been about an hour and 15 minutes. Holy cow, I talk a lot. But thank you for joining me this morning. I do appreciate your orders. If you use the host code that's below or on the other page, when you are ordering, that helps with getting prizes and stuff that I give out. I did say that I had some happy mail. I have a Valentine's Day card and I had a thank you card. I will show those next week because I think I might have set them down when I filled my glass of water. I had them in my hands because I put them in the same spot in my kitchen. I had them in my hands and I'm like, oh, I need a glass of water just in case. So I went and filled that and I'm pretty sure that I set them down. So I will show you. Next week, I will be live at the same time. If you have any suggestions for next week, let me know. And then the week after that, I will be in Florida. 2 weeks from today, I will be in Florida and I cannot wait. So I will not be live and I am not going to push myself to get a video before I leave because I have to push myself to get my card buffet ready to go before I leave. And so I do come back the next week on Friday. And right now my plan is to go live on that Saturday. We'll kind of see how things go though. If I have any flight problems, then I might not be live. But my plan, I get in early enough that if I don't have something ready before I leave, I will be able to get it ready that night. So thank you so much for joining me and being part of my little stamping world. I really appreciate it. And I love my time with you each day. So I hope you can find some time to be creative and have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.